Hello, and welcome back to Speak English Podcast, the show that helps you improve your English speaking skills from anywhere in the world. I'm your host, and today we're diving into one of the most requested topics from our listeners: how to speak English alone. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can I practice speaking if there's nobody to talk to? Well, my friend, you're in for a treat today because I'm going to share with you 7 powerful methods that will transform your solo English practice sessions. These aren't just theories, these are tried and tested techniques that thousands of English learners have used to achieve fluency. Before we jump in, let me ask you something. How many times have you wanted to practice your English speaking, but you felt embarrassed, nervous, or simply didn't have anyone to practice with? If you're nodding your head right now, you're definitely not alone. In fact, this is one of the biggest challenges that English learners face worldwide. The beautiful thing about practicing English alone is that you can make mistakes freely, experiment with new words and phrases, and build your confidence without any judgment. It's like having a private gym for your English muscles. You can work out at your own pace, focus on your weaknesses, and celebrate your progress without anyone watching. So let's get started with our first method. And this one might surprise you because it's something you probably do every day, but you've never thought of it as English practice. Method 1, the mirror method, your best English speaking partner. The first technique I want to share with you is what I call the mirror method. Now, this might sound a bit silly at first, but hear me out because this is incredibly powerful. Here's what you do. Stand in front of a mirror and have a conversation with yourself in English. I know, it sounds crazy, but let me explain why this works so well. When you speak to yourself in the mirror, you're engaging multiple senses simultaneously. You're hearing your own voice, you're seeing your facial expressions and mouth movements, and you're creating a real-time feedback loop. This helps your brain process and retain the language patterns much more effectively than just reading or listening alone. Let me give you some practical examples of how to use the mirror method. Morning routine practice. Every morning while you're getting ready, describe what you're doing in English. I'm brushing my teeth. The toothpaste tastes minty. I need to remember to buy a new toothbrush this week. This helps you practice everyday vocabulary and present continuous tense naturally. Daily reflection. At the end of each day, stand in front of your mirror and talk about your day. Today was interesting. I had a meeting with my colleagues and we discussed the new project. I felt confident when I presented my ideas, but I struggled with some technical vocabulary. Future planning. Use the mirror to practice talking about your plans and goals. Next month, I'm planning to visit my friend in another city. I'm excited, but also nervous about speaking English with native speakers there. Storytelling practice. Tell yourself stories, jokes, or retell movies you've watched. This helps you practice narrative structures and connecting ideas fluently. The key to making the mirror method work is consistency and progression. Start with simple sentences and gradually challenge yourself with more complex topics. Don't worry about making mistakes. Remember, you're your own best student and teacher in this moment. One pro tip: record yourself occasionally while doing mirror practice. When you listen back, you'll notice things about your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation that you might miss in real time. This self-awareness is crucial for improvement. Method 2, the commentary technique. Become your own sports announcer. Our second method is what I like to call the commentary technique, and this one is particularly fun and effective. Think about sports commentators. They speak continuously, describing everything that's happening in real time. They use dynamic language, express excitement, and paint vivid pictures with their words. You're going to do exactly the same thing, but for your daily life. Here's how it works. Choose any activity you're doing and provide a running commentary in English as if you're a sports announcer describing the action to an invisible audience. Let me demonstrate with some examples. Cooking commentary. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Sarah in the kitchen today, and she's about to attempt her famous pasta recipe. She's heating the olive oil. Listen to that sizzle. She's adding the garlic, and the aroma is absolutely incredible. Ooh, she's being very careful not to burn it. Excellent technique. Workout commentary. Here we see our athlete beginning her morning jog. The pace is steady, the form is excellent. She's approaching the first hill. This is where it gets challenging. She's maintaining her rhythm beautifully, demonstrating great endurance and determination. Daily commute commentary. Our traveler is now boarding the morning train. She's found a seat by the window, strategic positioning. She's pulling out her book, settling in for what promises to be a productive journey into the city. This technique is incredibly powerful because it forces you to think and speak spontaneously in English. You can't prepare or rehearse what you're going to say because you're responding to real-time events. This mirrors exactly what happens in natural conversation. The commentary technique also helps you develop several crucial skills. Descriptive language, you learn to paint pictures with words using adjectives, adverbs, and vivid expressions. Present tense mastery, you naturally practice present continuous and present simple tenses, which are fundamental for everyday communication. Vocabulary expansion, you'll quickly discover which words you know and which ones you need to learn. When you can't describe something, make a note and look it up later. Fluency development. The continuous nature of commentary helps you speak in longer chunks, improving your overall fluency and rhythm. Start with simple activities and gradually work up to more complex situations. You might feel self-conscious at first, but remember, nobody else can hear you, so let your personality shine through. Method number 3 is the question and answer game. Be both student and teacher. Method number 3 is the question and answer game, and this technique helps you develop one of the most important skills for real conversations, the ability to think on your feet and respond naturally to questions. Here's the concept. You're going to play both roles, the person asking questions and the person answering them. This might sound simple, but it's incredibly effective for building conversational reflexes. Start by preparing a list of common questions that people might ask you. These could include personal questions. Tell me about yourself. What do you do for work? What are your hobbies? Where are you from? What's your favorite food? Opinion questions. What do you think about social media? Do you prefer city life or country life? What's the most important quality in a friend? How do you stay motivated? Experience questions. What's the most challenging thing you've ever done? Describe a perfect day for you. What's the best advice you've ever received? Tell me about a time when you overcame a fear. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Don't just give short, basic answers. Challenge yourself to provide detailed, engaging responses. For example, instead of saying, "I like reading," try, "I'm passionate about reading," especially historical fiction. There's something magical about being transported to different time periods and experiencing life through completely different perspectives. My favorite book this year was about World War II, and it really made me appreciate the resilience of the human spirit. The key is to practice extending your answers naturally, adding personal details, examples, and follow-up thoughts. This helps you sound more conversational and engaging when speaking with real people. Take this technique further by creating follow-up questions based on your own answers. If you just talked about loving historical fiction, ask yourself, what got you interested in history? Or, do you think historical fiction helps us understand current events better? This creates a natural flow of conversation and helps you practice transitioning between topics smoothly. Advanced practitioners can try the random question challenge. Write different questions on pieces of paper, put them in a container, and draw them randomly. Give yourself only 30 seconds to think before answering. This simulates the spontaneous nature of real conversations where you don't have time to prepare perfect responses. Method 4, the shadowing method, your secret to natural pronunciation. Our fourth method is called shadowing, and it's one of the most effective techniques for improving your pronunciation, intonation, and natural speech patterns. Shadowing means listening to native English speakers and trying to repeat what they say at the exact same time they're saying it. You're like their shadow, following their words, rhythm, and emotions as closely as possible. Here's how to do it effectively. Step 1, choose your content. Select audio or video content that's slightly below your current level. This could be news broadcasts, podcast episodes, YouTube videos, audiobooks, movie scenes, TED Talks. The key is choosing content where you understand at least 70 to 80% of what's being said. Step 2, listen first. Play the audio and just listen without trying to repeat. Focus on understanding the main ideas and getting familiar with the speaker's voice and pace. Step 3, read along. If subtitles or transcripts are available, read along while listening. This helps you connect the written and spoken forms of words. Step 4, start shadowing. Now comes the real practice. Play the audio and try to speak along with the speaker in real time. Don't worry about understanding every single word. Focus on matching their rhythm, intonation, and emotional tone. Step 5, focus on trouble spots. When you encounter difficult sections, pause the audio and practice those parts slowly. Then gradually increase the speed until you can shadow at normal pace. Let me share some specific benefits of shadowing. Pronunciation improvement. By mimicking native speakers, you naturally adopt their pronunciation patterns. Your mouth learns the physical movements needed for clear English sounds. Intonation mastery. English isn't just about individual words, it's about the music of the language. Shadowing helps you develop natural rise and fall patterns in your speech. Listening skills. Paradoxically, focusing on speaking actually improves your listening abilities because you're training your ear to catch subtle sounds and rhythms. Confidence building. Regular shadowing practice makes speaking feel more automatic and natural, reducing hesitation in real conversations. Here are some pro tips for effective shadowing. Start with short segments. Begin with 30 to 60-second clips rather than trying to shadow entire videos. Focus on emotion. Don't just repeat words. Try to match the speaker's emotional tone and attitude. Use headphones. This helps you hear subtle details in pronunciation and reduces distractions. Practice daily. Even 10 to 15 minutes of shadowing per day can produce remarkable results over time. Record yourself. Occasionally record your shadowing practice and compare it to the original. This helps you identify areas for improvement. Method 5, the storytelling method. And this is where English practice becomes genuinely enjoyable and personally meaningful. Humans are natural storytellers. We share experiences, retell funny incidents, and describe our dreams and goals through narratives. When you practice storytelling in English, you're not just learning a language. You're learning to express your authentic self. Here's how to implement this method. Personal experience stories. Take events from your life and practice retelling them in English. Start with simple stories and gradually work toward more complex narratives. Example progression. Beginner. Yesterday I went to the store. I bought milk and bread. The cashier was very friendly. Intermediate. I had an interesting experience at the grocery store yesterday. While I was waiting in line, I noticed the person in front of me was struggling to communicate with the cashier because of a language barrier. I decided to help translate, and it felt really good to make a difference in someone's day. Advanced. You know, it's fascinating how small moments can remind us of our shared humanity. Yesterday's grocery store incident got me thinking about how language barriers can create unnecessary distance between people, but also how a simple act of kindness can bridge those gaps instantly. Fictional storytelling. Create imaginary stories, describe dreams, or retell movies and books in your own words. This pushes you to be creative with language and helps you practice various tenses and narrative structures. Daily story challenges. Each day, challenge yourself to tell a different type of story. Monday, a funny story from your childhood. Tuesday, describe your ideal vacation. Wednesday, tell a scary or suspenseful story. Thursday, share a story about overcoming a challenge. Friday, Describe your goals and dreams for the future. Weekend, free choice. Any story you want to tell. Storytelling techniques to practice. Setting the scene. It was a cold December evening, and I was rushing to catch the last train home. Building suspense, little did I know that this simple decision would change everything. Using dialogue, my grandmother always used to say, the best adventures happen when you least expect them. Emotional description, I felt a mixture of excitement and nervousness as I approached the interview room. Conclusion and reflection. Looking back, I realized that moment taught me more about courage than any book ever could. The beauty of storytelling practice is that it's endlessly adaptable. You can practice anywhere, while walking, before bed, during your commute. You can tell the same story multiple times, each time focusing on different aspects, like emotion, detail, or pacing. Here's a powerful exercise. Take one simple event, like I made breakfast this morning, and tell it 5 different ways. 1, as a straightforward report. 2, as a comedy routine. 3, as a suspenseful thriller. 4, as a romantic scene. 5, as a scientific documentary. This helps you understand how tone, word choice, and emphasis can completely transform the same basic information. Method 6. The debate method. Argue with yourself and win every time. Our 6th method is the debate method, and this technique is incredibly powerful for developing critical thinking skills while improving your English fluency. The concept is simple. You're going to have debates with yourself, arguing both sides of various topics. This might sound strange, but it's one of the best ways to prepare for real-world discussions, where you need to express opinions, provide evidence, and respond to counterarguments. Here's how to structure a self-debate. Step 1. Choose a topic. Start with topics you have some knowledge about or personal interest in. Examples. Is social media more helpful or harmful? Should people work from home or in offices? Is it better to live in a city or countryside? Are smartphones making us more or less social? Step 2. Set up the debate format. Imagine you're in a formal debate. You'll argue for one position for 2 to 3 minutes, then switch and argue for the opposite position for the same amount of time. Step 3. Prepare your arguments. For each side, think about main points you want to make, evidence or examples to support your position, and potential counterarguments and how to address them. Step 4. Practice debate language. Use phrases and expressions that are common in discussions and debates. Expressing opinions. For expressing opinions, in my opinion, I strongly believe that, from my perspective, it seems to me that. Presenting arguments. First of all, furthermore, additionally, on the other hand, providing evidence. For example, according to research, in my experience, studies have shown that acknowledging counterarguments. While I understand that some people think that, although it's true that, I can see why others might argue that, despite the fact that. Let me demonstrate with a mini debate on remote work. Position A, pro-remote work. I firmly believe that working from home offers significant advantages for both employees and employers. Firstly, it eliminates commuting time, which means workers can be more productive and have better work-life balance. Furthermore, companies can access talent from anywhere in the world, not just their local area. Additionally, overhead costs are reduced when there's no need for large office spaces. Position B, pro-office work. While I acknowledge the benefits of remote work, I believe in-person collaboration is irreplaceable.
Face-to-face interaction fosters creativity and innovation in ways that video calls simply cannot match. Moreover, office environments provide structure and routine that many people need to stay motivated and focused. Finally, mentorship and casual learning opportunities that happen naturally in offices are difficult to replicate remotely. This type of practice helps you develop vocabulary, you learn topic-specific words and academic language used in discussions. Practice complex grammar. Debates require sophisticated sentence structures, conditional statements, and complex reasoning patterns. Build confidence. When you can argue both sides of an issue, you feel more prepared for any conversation. Improve critical thinking. You learn to analyze topics from multiple perspectives and anticipate different viewpoints. Advanced practitioners can try the devil's advocate challenge. Deliberately argue for positions you personally disagree with. This pushes you to think creatively and express ideas that don't come naturally to you.
Method 7. The phone call simulation. Practice real-world scenarios. Our final method is phone call simulation, and this technique specifically prepares you for one of the most challenging aspects of English communication, speaking on the phone. Phone conversations are particularly difficult because you can't rely on visual cues, body language, or facial expressions. You have to communicate entirely through voice, which means your pronunciation, intonation, and clarity become absolutely crucial. Here's how to practice phone conversations alone. Step 1. Set up the scenario. Use your phone or pretend to hold one. This physical act helps create a more realistic practice environment. Step 2. Practice common phone scenarios. Making appointments. Hello, I'd like to schedule an appointment with Dr. Smith, please. Is next Tuesday afternoon available? Actually, could we make it a bit earlier? I have another commitment at 3 p.m. Customer service calls. Hi, I'm calling about a problem with my recent order. The tracking number is XYZ123, and it was supposed to arrive yesterday. I'd appreciate it if you could look into this matter for me. Business calls. Good morning. This is your name from company. I'm calling to follow up on our meeting last week. We've reviewed your proposal, and we have a few questions. When would be a good time to discuss this further? Social calls. Hey, Sarah, it's me. How are you doing? I was wondering if you'd like to grab coffee this weekend. What do you think? Are you free on Saturday morning? Step 3. Practice phone etiquette. Opening calls. Hello, this is your name speaking. Good morning. May I speak with... Hi, I'm calling regarding... During calls. Could you repeat that, please? Let me make sure I understand correctly. I'm sorry, could you speak a bit more slowly? Ending calls. Thank you for your time. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Step 4. Practice difficult situations. When you don't understand. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? I'm having trouble hearing you. Could you speak up a bit? Would you mind spelling that for me? When you need time to think. That's an interesting question. Let me think about it for a moment. Could you give me a second to check my calendar? I'd like to discuss this with my team first. Can I call you back? When there are technical problems, I think we have a bad connection. Can you hear me clearly? Should we try calling back? Step 5. Record and review. Record your practice phone calls and listen back to them. Pay attention to clarity of speech, appropriate volume, professional tone, and natural conversation flow. One particularly effective exercise is the multiple role play. For one scenario, play all the different people involved. For example, if you're practicing making a restaurant reservation, play both the customer and the restaurant employee. Good evening, Antonio's Restaurant. How may I help you? Hi, I'd like to make a reservation for 2 people tomorrow night. Certainly. What time would you prefer? Around 7:30 p.m., if possible? Let me check our availability. Yes, we have a table at 7:30. May I have your name? This helps you understand both sides of common conversations and prepares you for various responses you might receive. Create a practice space. Designate a specific area in your home for English practice. This could be in front of your mirror, at your desk, or even a comfortable corner with good acoustics. Track your progress. Keep a simple journal noting what you practiced each day and any improvements you notice. Celebrate small victories. Be patient with yourself. Language learning is a marathon, not a sprint. Some days will feel more productive than others, and that's completely normal. Stay motivated. Remember why you started learning English. Whether it's for career advancement, travel, education, or personal growth, keep your goals in mind during challenging moments. Mix it up. Variety prevents boredom and ensures you're developing all aspects of speaking skills. Don't get stuck doing only one type of practice. The beautiful thing about practicing English alone is that you're in complete control. You can focus on your specific needs, work at your own pace, and create a judgment-free learning environment. You're not just learning English, you're building confidence, developing critical thinking skills, and preparing yourself for meaningful connections with English speakers around the world. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that speaking English alone is not a substitute for real conversation practice, but it's an incredibly powerful foundation. The confidence and skills you build through these solo practice methods will make you much more prepared and comfortable when you do have opportunities to speak with others. So, here's my challenge for you. Choose one of these 7 methods and commit to practicing it for just 10 minutes today. That's it, just 10 minutes. Start small, be consistent, and watch how your English speaking skills transform over time. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of Speak English Podcast. I hope you found these techniques helpful and inspiring. Remember, every expert was once a beginner, and every moment of practice brings you closer to fluency. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast and share it with other English learners who could benefit from these techniques. Your support helps us create more content that makes English learning accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Until next time, keep practicing, stay motivated, and remember, you've got this. The English-speaking world is waiting to hear what you have to say. This has been Speak English Podcast. I'm your host, and we'll see you in the next episode. Keep speaking, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself.